Good afternoon, Mighty Mums. Really pumped building the March agenda, and I can't wait to tell you all about it tomorrow night at a roundtable 7:30 p.m. But today, Daily Revelation number 111. Are you leading by example, or are you just telling people what to do? And what I'm talking about here is with your kids. Hey, Jacinda, how you going? So ultimately, hey, Kelly. So we tell our kids, okay, I want you to do this and I want you to do that, but you yourself, are you ultimately doing that? And that's just not in your health and fitness, but every area of your life. And this is for me as well. When I have mentors, when I have leaders, ultimately, like, they mentor me and I know that they've been through what I've gone through or have had the experience with what I'm about to go through. So therefore I look up to them and have the credit. They have the credibility when they say something that they've actually done it. And I've had this in the past, and you may have had this in the past, where you've had a boss and they said, do this, do this, do this, but ultimately they've never done it before. So they don't know exactly what you're about to go through. So therefore they can't coach you. They're just coming from a place of judgment. They're coming from a place of not really understanding or being empathetic. So when it comes to our health and fitness, and when your kids grow up, and I assume you want your kids to be healthy, and I assume you want your kids to be able to deal with failure and be able to push through. So we have to live that out right now. And are you living out that life that you want your kids to ultimately live? Because I guarantee you, as a mum, you're so caring, you're so loving, that you want the best for your kids, and you want your kids to hit failures, hit tough times, stressful times, and be able to push through that. But the question to you is, are you doing that? When you hit stressful times, when you're overwhelmed, where you're not getting results with your health and fitness, do you give up? And do you jump from program to program? Because ask yourself the question, what would you want your kids to do? If they hit a wall, if they hit a failure, would you tell them, oh, no, I want you to stick with that failure and don't move on? But we do the same for ourselves. So that love, that care that you have for your kids, do you put that upon yourself? And that really drives me. That drives me every single day. When I have kids and when I have people under me that I'm leading, is I don't want to tell them something unless I'm ultimately doing it, because that comes from a place of credibility and a place of understanding. So this comes to your health and fitness. It's just like, this is how we treat ourselves when it comes to failure. Imagine your kids, okay? Some are learning to walk. Maybe some of your kids do walk. And what happens when they first start walking is they fail. They fall down. And would you say to your kid when they fall down, okay, no, stop walking, you're never going to learn to walk? No, sounds really silly, right? You tell them to get back up and they're going to keep going and eventually learn to walk. But when it comes to our health and fitness journey, when it comes to our life, when we hit a failure, we give up. But it's just like saying to your kid when they fall down, when they're learning to walk, and that is to stop, don't learn anymore, and I don't want you to walk. Now, it sounds really silly, right? But that's what we do as adults. Adults are just like kids, but with more excuses. We're big kids. But ultimately, we need to take ownership, responsibility of where we are, and have the perspective of a leadership mindset. A leader that doesn't just talk the talk, but they walk the walk. In your health and fitness, hey, Tanil, in your health and fitness, in your life, in your career, whatever it is, I want to build mums that are leading by example, that they're leading the charge for the next generation. They're not just making decisions for yourself, but you're making decisions for other people. Because ultimately, when you move out of your own head, your own stresses, your own thoughts, and then you can help people, you can then move forward. I always like the analogy of whatever situation you're in, is what advice would you give to your friend? What advice would you give to your friend in a similar situation? Because now then you can get out of your own head and you have this helicopter view of what you need to do. But we get so caught up in our own head, in our own failures, in our own mind, in our own self-limiting beliefs that we don't know how to move forward. So comment below, Jacinda, Kelly, Tanil, if you can relate to this. Are you actually leading by example? Or are you just telling people what to do? Are you just a manager that's just saying, do this, do that, do that? Because a leader is someone that has done the journey, has lived the journey, and they're still doing the journey. Leadership is not a point that you get to. It's a constant thing that we constantly work on. And as a mum, you're a leader, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter if you have a position in a career that you're a boss or you're an owner, whatever it is, you're a leader. You're a leader as a mom, leading your kids to a place. And whether you like it or not, they're going to pick up the habits of what you do, because kids are really, really, really intuitive, as you are very aware, but they subconsciously pick up the habits of what you do. And that's a really driving factor for yourself that should really ultimately drive you internally. When you have this mindset of, okay, if I'm not willing to do it for myself, I'm definitely willing to do it for my kids, because I don't want my kids to ultimately do what I'm doing, or I don't want my kids to, follow my bad habits. Well, we need to break those habits. And I'm not looking for perfection here, but it's ultimately, rather than telling what to do, live it out. Live it out, and people will start to come to you for help. And you can inspire your kids, your family, whoever it is you ultimately want to inspire, and to tell them to live the life that you truly want to live. But first, we need to live it out. And that comes with every single day making the decision to turn up, to go through the times that you need to go through, the failures, the trials. Jacinda writes here, it's so easy to monitor what the kids eat, yet not what I eat, and seems to be able to tell my daughter, no, that's enough for me. And yeah, totally. And it's easy to look at other people. Thanks, Jacinda, for sharing. To look at your kids and tell them what to do. But I want to ask yourself the question, are you doing those things? And that's the movement that I want to create here. And like I said in the previous video, I'm not here to save you. I want to empower you to become leaders, to take ownership of where you are, that you feel so inspired every single day, that you know exactly what you need to do and you do it. It's really, really, really simple, but we as humans complicate it. We try and go, well, it's not the perfect plan. I need this to be in place. I need to have this amount of money. And when I lose weight, then I'll be happy. No. It starts with today, with a decision to go, okay, this is what I'm going to do today, because ultimately my kids are going to pick up on these habits. And that's a really powerful thought, and scary as well, that if you don't change, if you do not ultimately build the healthy habits in all areas of your life, your kids are going to pick that up. And yes, they have the choice to make their own decisions, but they're going to pick up those subtle habits. So the decision is yours, ladies. Ultimately, build the habits that are going to inspire not just your kids, but everyone else around you, because I guarantee you deep down inside that you want a life of purpose and a life of fulfillment that's going to inspire others beyond yourself. I hope that helps. Thanks, Jacinda, Tennille, and Kelly for coming on board, and I hope that helped.